In the Expert TA overview video, we reviewed the main points and clicks of the class management page and discussed how instructors make decisions on deductions associated with submission attempts, accessing hints and feedback, and late work. As a reminder, if you have any questions about the deductions on an assignment, please contact your instructor. In this video, we will take an assignment in Expert TA and discuss system features designed to help you be successful. In Expert TA, you will experience working different question types. This video will focus on questions that require you to enter symbolic expressions. Let's go ahead and work part B of the problem showing on the screen. The problem is asking us to write an expression for the sum of forces in the x direction. As a student, your time should be spent thinking about the physics and not spent trying to figure out how to enter in an answer. A lot of effort has gone into the design of the interface used to enter symbolic answers. There are several features in place to minimize confusion. You won't have to search through drill-down menus to find a symbol or function. You also won't have to wonder about the syntax involved in entering Greek symbols, functions, or other variables. The palette will contain all the variables and terms you need for a given question, and some that you don't, which instructors feel is an important part of the assessment process. You can enter in an answer by simply clicking a few buttons. You can also type to enter in answers. As you type the cosine, you will see that there are two choices available. The system will show you what to type and what will be displayed, cosine alpha versus cosine beta. You can use your keyboard to enter numbers and math operators that you see on the right side of the palette, such as the minus sign. You will never lose credit for typing in a variable in a slightly different way because you are restricted to a defined variable set. For example, if you try to type in T1 with HTML subscript tags, you would see that the system does not register a match for this entry. There are also several features designed to protect students from making careless syntax errors. You would never put two minus symbols in a row when writing an answer, so we don't want you to accidentally click the button twice. We actually parse your answer as you type it, and we toggle the buttons to the right so that only the things that make sense mathematically are available at any given time. You can notice in this case the minus sign is no longer available. It is possible to type in an answer that has syntax errors, but we don't want you losing points or a submission attempt for these mistakes. For example, let's enter an answer that has more open parentheses than closed parentheses. You will notice the system lets us know we have entered an incorrect answer with non-matching parentheses. You will also notice that in the grade summary, all submission attempts still remain, and no points have been deducted for entering an incorrect answer. In Expert TA, there are hints available to you. If you are having trouble getting started on a problem, we recommend accessing hints. These hints are authored by college-level physics instructors and should offer a good starting point for the problem. These hints often address common mistakes that students have made while solving these problems. For example, here the second hint points out a key aspect of this problem. The angle alpha is measured from the vertical axis rather than the horizontal, and this changes how sine and cosine should be applied. There is also feedback available to you in Expert TA. Let's put in a few answers so that we can talk about feedback. The correct answer to the question is T2 cosine beta minus T1 sine alpha, as is shown on the screen. You shouldn't necessarily know that right now since it is the start of the semester, but this can still serve as an example. Let's make this answer have a few errors and also not be as simplified as is possible. Let's put a few extra parentheses around T1 and also make the mistake of having cosine alpha instead of sine alpha. Once we submit our answer, we are told that feedback is available, and if we access it, you can see that we are warned about the angles. The feedback is specific to the mistake, so if we put in a different incorrect answer, we would receive a different message. Let's fix our trig mistake and instead make a sign error. Again, you can see that the feedback is not generic. It is directly related to the mistake that is made. We strongly encourage you to access feedback when it is available. If we don't have anything meaningful to provide, no feedback is offered. For this question, T2 squared minus T1 cubed is really far from the correct answer. As you can see, we indicate that no specific feedback is available, and you can see that the feedback button is disabled. Here we recommend accessing available hints and relevant material. A visit to office hours or an email to the TA or instructor could be helpful. Again, if we do say we have feedback, it means it is probably pretty helpful. We actually use data mining, machine learning, and a lot of hard work by college-level physics instructors in order to provide you with the best feedback and help possible. Every semester, for over 5 years now, tens of thousands of students have used Expert TA and were assigned a lot of the questions that will be assigned to you this semester. As those students did work, they made some mistakes. As said earlier, we data mined all those mistakes, applied machine learning, then had college-level physics instructors author handwritten feedback statements that would be helpful for you, the student. This is what is presented to any future student who happens to make the same mistake. Finally, please don't worry about Expert TA being picky about what form your answer is in. It doesn't matter if you put in extra parens, use trig identities, or anything like this. Expert TA will recognize any and all mathematically equivalent expressions. To demonstrate this, you can see that the expression on the screen is unnecessarily complex. For T2 cosine beta, I have typed in cosine beta using a trig identity. 1 minus sine beta squared is cosine squared beta, and if I divide it by cosine beta, this will just be T2 cosine beta. I've also put in some extra parens that the math engine will have to deal with. We should have minus T2 sine alpha, but I will put in plus T2 sine alpha and then multiply it by -1. Again, this is unnecessarily complicated, but the point is to show you that Expert TA will interpret and accept your answer, even if you type it in a very different form. With that said, of course there's a chance that you put in the correct answer and we didn't accept it. Our technology is solid, but we are always adding to our collection of physics questions, and sometimes a new question does have an error. If you are convinced your answer is correct, either run it past your instructor or contact us. If our answer isn't correct, we will fix it, and then fix your grade and the grade of any other student who is also affected. The accuracy of your grades is important. Every point counts. This has been a very detailed look at the equation question type. We hope this has been helpful.